Hello guys, so we are going to be checking in for the community thing for today. I'm looking like shit, but I don't really care.
So let's jump right into that and introduce our topics of discussion. You guys are going to see them on your screens, but we are going to start with the ranked map rotation and the mid-season balancing that we've already talked about publicly, but we're also going to go into a discussion of the Dokkaebi remaster. Not too much details, just a little bit to get you guys a bit more context on that.
We want more.
New onboarding, that's coming, and player protection update, a quick one there. All that being said, let's jump into our first topic, which is the new ranked map rotation. There's going to be multiple changes coming to this, so why don't we just kick things off and talk about why you're changing things up for the ranked map rotation?
Yeah, sure. So we had 16 maps for a long time, and we wanted to try a new approach. We were, swapping out the maps. We were thinking at the beginning of the season and the mid-season as well, but it was our first time doing this, so we've actually learned a lot. We had announced all the maps for the full season at the beginning, purposely, because we were kind of testing the waters a little bit, and we certainly heard from our community loud and clear that some of those maps were not necessarily the competitive level that they were looking for. So basically, we've heard a couple things that are core to players. One are those new modernized maps that we brought, like Oregon, Villa. I've gone through a modernization, all the destructible ingredients getting added, for example. Swapping those out with less competitive maps was not really matching expectations for players, which is great to know, right?
Yep.
We wanted to test the flexibility of those, maybe more casual maps in the ranked for a temporary to see how that would work, and that's not necessarily something players want to see. Additionally, we have all 9 pro maps in the ranked pool, and that's really important for players, is having those like competitive maps. Those are the most competitive maps in our current scene.
Yes.
They get maintained within the ranked rotation.
So you talked about all this feedback you received and all of that. So we've got a new approach coming, not only, well, let's talk about season 1 first, right? Sure. What's happening for season 1 right now, or in a few days?
Yeah, so actually it'll be coming next week. I think it'll be shortly after our 0.2 mid-season patch. So what's going to end up happening is that we're going to be adding 4 maps to the pool. So that'll be Canal, Theme Park, Outback, and Skyscraper are going to be added to the pool. So for this one time, we're going to boost the total size up to 17 from 13.
Okay, and actually we have it on your screen as well, folks, to give you an idea visually of what's going to be happening here. So we talked about the 4 maps being added, and then in Season 2 with Rank 3.0, it's going to change even further, right?
Yeah, so we have a new approach for Rank 3.0. So we really looked at, well, I would say we've learned a lot from this first attempt in Season 1. And so we changed basically the back end of how we're going to be able to rotate maps. So now if you picture the map ban phase, you have 5 maps that appear.
Right.
We're now going to be able to control those maps individually through different pools. So one of those is going to be the showcased pool. So the showcase pool we'll use primarily for new maps. So Calypso Casino is coming in Season 2. Now with this new showcase option, you'll actually be able to have Calypso Casino in every single map ban phase in the beginning of the season. That won't stay for the full season, but
how
for
you
the beginning
doing?
of the season will be the case. And then we're going to be pulling the rest of the maps through 2 different pools. One will be the pro pool, and one will be the seasonal pool. That means we don't have to kind of counterbalance the number of seasonal maps that we have in order to, rotate against the 9 maps that we have on pro. So for every ban phase, you'll have 2 pro maps, Calypso Casino, and 2 seasonal maps.
Okay, and we talked about the seasonal maps a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to be pulling from the full 8, right? Is that correct? It's just going to be 4 maps that
It'll be 4, and then after that, we're going to do when we do a rotation, how that's going to work is that we're actually going to be listening to the community through the ban phases. So if there's a map that's not banned very often, so Oregon is a good example, right? It's a map that doesn't get banned that often, but it's a seasonal map. It's not currently in our pro league.
I'm doing good.
Might survive a
Just
rotation.
excited.
So that we don't have to necessarily do 4 and 4 and just kind of rotate back and forth.
Just excited, and just watching for
like Casino,
what's going to happen here.
Listening to the community, maybe keeping some of the ones that are least banned, and the ones that are most banned will be the ones that get rotated out.
Okay. And is there a minimum amount of maps you want to rotate out? Or, I mean, obviously there's going to be some rotated out. I guess one would be the minimum, or is there something else?
Yeah, we still want there to be
Yeah.
a seasonal flavor with those
Yeah,
mid-season
exactly.
Right.
updates.
Yeah, if it's only one, it doesn't really invoke much change, and we
Right.
want to be able to do that, like switch things up and kind of challenge it a little bit. I think there's a couple other things to note, like we mentioned the showcase pool. Right now, it's going to be Calypso in season 2, but later in the year, we're going to have targeted map updates. There's a chance that we can actually place those maps in that slot. That's something we want to ask the community
That's
about, see what they
interesting.
think about that idea. So when the Villa update comes, maybe that becomes part of the showcase pool. And just to back up on another thing that I
I'm
think
not
is really
sure
important
about
Chris
that, though.
mentioned is normally the map rotation, the rank map rotation, will be at the 0.2 update. That is the cadence that we're looking for. Because of the adjustments we're doing and because of lots of different reasons, the seasonal surveys that
Yep.
we got this information from, which I think we'll dive into.
Yeah.
But beyond that, also the fact that whenever we do submissions in order to release content updates, there's a bit of a delay. There's a bit of a kind of a run up to that. There's certification and things. And because of that, we'll actually be delaying that rotation just a little bit in this season. But in the future, 0.2, our rotations will hit and it'll be
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about the feedback surveys. Let's actually jump into that, right? And you've already gone through them, correct? There's been a feedback cycle that's taken place?
Yeah, so we launched our season 1 seasonal survey, and
Mm.
we've now gotten the feedback. We actually put a number of questions in that seasonal survey about.
Yeah, I
map
did answer
rotation.
that survey.
I was
actually.
personally surprised how much Favela was hated. I knew it was not a top map. I didn't expect the amount of hate that it got. And one thing we don't want is really impact overall players' enjoyment in the ranked pool.
Right.
So basically, what it did highlight for us is that that's a map that we wanted to be in more of a a competitive place.
Right.
So maybe it needs some reworks. Maybe we need to do a little bit of work on that map.
Emerald needs a
That's the
rework.
key aspect on why that's not showing up in the rotation that we're doing in season 1. So we were just listening to the community. We don't want that experience. It's okay. We're not going to do that. But we're going.
Receiving feedback from everyone out there, what is the best way for them to get their voice heard?
The seasonal survey is the best. Like if we had to, prioritize them, the seasonal survey is a great structured way.
I
for
knew
us to
that
get
they're
feedback.
going to talk a
Um,
little bit,
we do also watch a lot
of the
content
Dokkaebi
creator
remaster,
content.
but
We're on
that is coming up
socials, for sure we
in
do workshops with our
May.
community and our pros.
So we're going to
Um,
get the
But
final
at the same
answer for
time,
that.
the seasonal survey is the number one way to let players' voice be heard.
Yeah, so guys, keep talking on social media, keep making your posts on Reddit, all that stuff. But also, if you really want your voice to be heard, make sure you check out those seasonal surveys. Usually when we have one, or actually always when we have one, bottom right-hand corner of your screen once you launch the game, you'll see that it's coming up, or you'll see that there's an announcement for it. Click on it, send your feedback, and that is the best way to be heard on any subject that we're going to be targeting. So, all that being said, why don't
Mid-season
we jump
balancing.
into check out what's happening in the STL match. I believe it's already started here. Yeah, we got Defenders winning round number 1. People might not know what STL is, so maybe we should give them some context here,
okay.
Josh, right?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's the Siege Team League.
Yeah.
So basically, internally, we run a tournament
Yes.
with all the developers on Siege. There are a couple there's 2 different brackets. There's recreational for maybe you just joined the team, maybe you've never played Siege before. We can get you in the recreational league. And then there's the advanced league. That's where our champion players are sitting and stuff like this. And if you have a lot of play time, that's usually where you end up, which means
Right.
I get stomped by champion players, which is great. So, but it's a fantastic way for us to play the game together, get super excited, and kind of hold this like internal tournament. There's a trophy. We have our own trophy. People's names get on it and stuff like this, and we do a live stage kind of a finale and stuff. It's a lot
big
of fun.
celebration. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all have drinks and stuff together. And honestly, you mentioned it's a great way to learn Siege.
Yeah.
Like we do have new people coming onto the Siege team all the time, jumping into the SDL. You
Right.
have coaches. You
Yes.
have floor plans and blueprints of the maps. You know who's playing
Yeah.
which operator. There's a whole lot of strat and
It
Holy
really
smokes.
depends on who the coach
Okay.
is, because like some of the coaches are crazy. And when I say this, like most of the coaches are actually like. Our
I'm
champions
wondering
are
if
very
the
advanced
half
players, and they'll be a
reinforcement
coach for
wall
the
is
rec
going
league
to
as
be
well, but also the
implemented.
advanced league. And
Um,
some of them are super
in-
hardcore, where you'll show up and you'll get a
I don't think it's
folder with
going to be
homework and,
implemented
like,
now,
dossiers on
but
all
it's
our
going to
opponents.
be on
Like,
the
the fact
so-called
that I can't see people's names right
experimental
now,
test
it's a little
server
frustrating,
is
but
going
I
to
can
be
use
there.
this
So
to like pull strats off of
I
what they're
am
doing
pretty
and
sure
then
it's
use
going
it
to
against
be
them,
there
but I
because
know
they
my team's
talked
already
about the
watching this,
half
so we'll be all right.
reinforcement
You've
thing.
got people researching. We take it seriously, folks. It's not a
So
joke
it's
here.
be
STL.
it sh-
But yeah, let's
probably
jump
will
back
be there.
into our discussion here. on mid-season balancing now. We want to talk about this. We're going to make an announcement for you guys. For the first
Aruni?
time, telling you what's changing.
Aruni, I'm
here in,
putting my
the
cash onto
1.2 balancing
Aruni.
patch. And I guess for the first topic here, Josh, how many operators are being targeted?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, this is the mid-season patch. So this is a major balancing update. We have 2 of these per season. One at the season launch.
I think it's
and
going to be
then one
Aruni and
mid-season, which is
Sophia.
happening very soon. So you can expect bigger changes here. Stuff that has more impact, kind of changes an operator's position within their overall impact of the game as well. So we are actually bringing 8 operators are being modified.
Okay.
Whoa!
And what's the most important
Whoa!
factor when you're selecting the operators to modify?
8
Well, I kind of
operators?
mentioned it right there with about impact. So all our operators should have impact, and they should have it in specific scenarios. We don't want one operator just being the one size fits all and be able to do everything.
Everyone
But
has
we want every
no.
operator to have their moment to shine, their scenario to shine, so that when you're getting the good intel, you're getting the read on the team. Maybe you're deep into the back and forth of a
Okay,
rank
so
match,
if
and
everyone
you've
is
kinda
having
got the essence
impact,
of
that
what this
means
team's
there's going
doing,
to be
so you can
less
start pulling out
secondary
the shots
shotgun
that
in the
are gonna
game.
Make a difference to close out the match for you. This is the stuff that matters. Is like when you play those cards, when you bring out those ops. So ultimately, it's making sure each one of our operators can take space within the game.
I'm
and
excited
very specifically
about it. I'm
own that
excited.
space as well.
Okay. And we have a lot of operators, 8 total, that are being targeted here. Why don't you give me a top 3 of the ones you feel have the most significant changes, starting with number 3, let's say.
Number 3. Okay. All right.
Or maybe number 1, actually.
Well, I mean, it'll differ between people, obviously.
so,
Like, I
right?
know which one's mine, so
Okay.
I'll say which one's mine when we get to it. But we'll start off with a big one because there's a multiple changes happening
Okay.
with this operator, which is Rorora.
Yes.
Rorora?
So for those who don't know, she has this Dom panel launcher. It's a device that allows her to close down doorways and take a lot of control as an attacker.
Oh,
which
the
is
range!
fantastic.
Okay, they
Some of the big
doing a
adjustments
lot.
here, and when you look at
25
the device,
meters!
it's been very kind of shared between attackers and defenders.
Right.
What I mean by that is like
Love
a defender
that!
can utilize it against the attackers if
Mhm.
they're clever and kind of play around it. But what we're doing here is really trying to center it back to being an attacker-sided gadget. So it's more responsive to our attackers and more reliable for the attacking side of the fight.
Love that.
On top of that, just comfort stuff going into it and allowing her to take that ground faster. One big thing is the range is being increased pretty dramatically from 15 meters up to 25.
Closing in
And
1
the
second?
biggest factor here is instead of having one panel to start, she's actually getting all 4 right off the bat. Yeah, so she can move very quickly, deploy these very, very fast. And just a pro tip for anyone using her,
Oh.
it's a real projectile, the actual Dom panel. So if you don't hold your line of sight well enough or hold the angle kind of weird, you're actually going to
Closer
hit the
for the
surface.
enemy.
So make sure you've got your line of sight to the essentially the doorway you're locking into.
Oh.
Okay, we have our number 1 then in Rorora, and you guys can see on your screen some of these changes we just discussed, right? In terms of, it's significant, right? In terms of how quickly the door is going to close for attackers
Well,
versus defenders.
Yeah, like what's on
Yeah.
the screen right now, we're saying opening and closing for up to 6 seconds from 3. Well,
Yeah.
in video games, 1 second is a lifetime.
Wow.
Yes,
And we just
yeah.
tripled that. So so 6
That
seconds
is,
massive.
oh my god,
and it
she's
can
going to
really
be
stop you from
played
getting
a
caught
lot,
off guard.
guys.
Also-
She's going
also
to
do
be
your timing
so
better. So when
much
you put these panels up,
played.
thinking in your head, okay, it'll be this amount of time before something can come through.
6
so, yeah,
seconds for an
it's
enemy
a
to
pretty
open.
big shift
Oh
on
my
it, and I'm
god,
looking
that
forward to
is
seeing,
a
folks kinda
huge change.
jump into like
their head.
using her. Yeah.
Cool.
That's a
What
huge
about
nerf
number
for
2?
the enemy.
Number 2. Okay. So
Now you're gonna
again,
be
no particular
more
order,
reliable
but this is
on,
the one I think is the big impact one.
on,
and, ultimately, it's the fact that we're bringing
Now-
an update to smoke.
The
Yes.
defenders
And we are
needs
reissuing this deployable shield.
impact.
Yeah. So
Back.
it's back. It's a pretty big
Whoa,
deal.
Smoke
has had
has-
this in the past. It makes him a really,
Smoke.
really strong anchor. Allows him to do carry a lot of weight for the team, and also allows you to change your lineup, so you don't have to bring that.
Shield
extra
is
operator that's
back,
bringing the
okay.
shield. So really excited to have this come back.
Thank God.
And what about the 3rd operator then?
The third, this one's fun too, is Jackal. We're actually diving into
Jackal.
Jackal here and updating on how he can essentially get the scans to work, and it's playing with verticality. Verticality is a huge thing in Siege. It's something we want to embrace more,
Oh.
and it's also an advanced skill in Siege in most FPSs in general because of the destructibility of the environment.
Yeah.
In this case, Jackal can use that shotgun, open up the floor, and then start scanning footprints from underneath, which allows him to have advantage to give that intel to his teammates who may be on rappels on windows or holding the actual floor above. But also he's getting a set of frags.
That's actually smart.
So he becomes a bit of a menace.
Yeah,
from down below
maybe.
now.
All right, I love playing Jackal, so I'm excited about that change for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
The C70 is amazing. I love that gun.
I'm looking
That
forward to it.
secondary shotgun is going to come
Oh,
in
yeah.
clutch now.
All right. And I mean, we've got those 3 operators covered. However, we do have other changes coming. You already talked about 5 other operators, and I think they're not as significant, but still interesting in their own right, right?
Yeah, so these changes are definitely focused on quality of life and kind of more refined. Like they're
Yeah.
smaller changes to give you that extra little bit of comfort that you kind of look for. And you
So
can feel
these
that
3 are the
resistance
biggest
sometimes when you're playing
changes.
the game.
Aurora got the
And
biggest
right
change.
off the bat, we're looking at Glaz. When you scope in with a scope, there's when you're moving, it'll get fuzzy. Everyone kind of has experienced this. It normally takes about 12 seconds to fully lose its image. We've bumped that up to 15, so you have a little bit more time to keep that movement going and be able to kind of move a bit, stop, get that control, reset it, move a bit, stop, get that control, reset it. So again, quality of life, just giving you a little bit more functionality. And 12 to 15, again, 1 second to lifetime, it can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we have an update for Clash. The taser will be actually increased by 5 seconds, so it'll last a little bit longer, just to give her that extra little bit of flexibility.
She doesn't
there.
need more!
Grim,
Clash doesn't need
Grim-
more
okay.
shit!
We got to talk
It
about
needs
Grim.
a buff.
Yeah, more buffs. No. Okay. So here's the thing. Nerfs are not gone. And that's the thing that we have to kind of address and look at. But the one thing is the day of doing multiple nerfs that are really heavy-handed, that is gone.
Okay.
Unless there's an emergency. And I want to be very clear about that. Because our whole mantra going into balancing is we want to embrace the fun. We want to
Hi
have an
guys!
enjoyable experience for everyone. But
Clash
we want to
doesn't
be
need
competitive.
more.
This is Siege, and we take the game serious, and we want to be kind of locked in. So occasionally we are going to have to nerf stuff down, bring things in a line a little bit.
Right.
And we're doing that with Grim.
Snake?
This is
Grim.
for more high-level play as well. So basically, when you shoot the canister, there's 2 stages to it. It shoot it out, and then it deploys
Grim
the
got
actual,
a
payload
nerf.
that has the bees in it. During that deployment, that payload is vulnerable. You can shoot it. We're increasing the window in which you're going to be able to take it down. So again, if he's using the bailiff, opens up the wall on site and lobs one of these into the site, you're going to have the chance to be able to deal with it. At least a bigger window to deal with.
That audio cue as well for that when that
Yeah.
canister. Yeah.
Like the click, click, and then the boom. Or, well, depending if it's a bank shot or if it's a sticky, yeah, it can change. Next, we have Frost.
Yes.
So Frost, obviously, if you land in one of these traps, you're not having a good day. But like, if you pull yourself out of the trap, you get a 60-second debuff, which
Yeah.
makes you limp, makes
60.
you leave a trail, and makes you make a lot of noise. You're kind of dead to rights at this point,
Yeah.
usually. But yeah, we're just going to twist the knife more. We're adding 10 seconds to that debuff. So it's 70 seconds if you get caught in one of these traps and self-revive. It's, again, to encourage folks to, A, help each other. Yes, if your teammate's in the trap, pick them up. They don't get the debuff. if
The
that's the case. Or
debuff
B,
on Frost
don't-
is
Don't
insane!
go in the trap in the first place.
Oh my
So
god.
that's kind of the aspect there. And then last we have Thunderbird. Thunderbird.
Oh, Thunder.
Well, healing in Siege is always an interesting one, and one of the key things is rate of healing. This is something we've been looking into a bunch. So we're adjusting the rate of healing of our Kona stations from 2 HP a second to 3. So you'll actually get the full health a lot faster, and you will get the full health as long as you don't take more damage. That's the feature that's already been there.
And I think also this is I guess, a representative of a shift in our mentality in terms of balancing. This is not going to be the last time we do mid-season balancing. This is now a permanent thing that we're going to be looking at every season, correct?
Yeah, we're going to be doing the mid-season balancing as well as when we launch. Also, we have 2 refines per season, so
No, we
you know,
still
we've been
get
doing
a
lot of
debuff.
buffs, and we've
It
been
doesn't
doing
matter.
A lot of updates,
Yeah.
and it's going to keep going.
It's going to
So,
be
you know,
70
keeping-
seconds
we're doing a
now
big
instead.
mid-season now, 3 weeks later, we're going to be doing a
Jesus.
refine balancing, and then after that, S2 comes, another big major balancing is going to hit with that season as well. So there's a lot coming, and the game is changing
Yes,
often.
Yeah.
I
think
do
that's
agree with the
exciting personally.
Thunderbird
And it's a big thing for us to
change.
be able to
It's a
deploy
small
updates every
change,
3
quality of
weeks.
life for
'Cause
her.
that's ultimately what we're doing, and have access to that from like a live service approach is incredible. It allows us to be more reactive if a situation arises, but also allows us to plan stuff like kind of further out, make touch points with our community through those surveys, or even seeing them in person at different events, and be able to bring that feedback in faster because we actually have access to it. And we're able to do that. I think one thing to note though is that even though I won't leak all the changes we have coming because there's so much stuff coming, but
Right.
the reality is if we do massive drops of like 50 changes or something like that, we lose track of how we can actually track the game and understand
Right.
what's impacting what. So it's important that we are staging that stuff in order to react to the impact that this has.
I was kind
And
of sure that they
everyone
were going
who,
to
like,
nerf
really
Snake
is
because
in
of
deep in
his
the Siege
radar.
one factor can have a cascading effect across multiple operators and just multiple sites and kind of do this thing. So we need that data to kind of solidify as it moves forward too.
And speaking of data, we do have testing grounds that you've used in the past, right?
Yeah.
For other types of changes. Is this something you would consider for these balancing elements, or is it just more of the live approach and taking this like slower approach to it?
So
Yeah, I
on
think
Grim
with
now,
testing
you
ground-
can
well,
actually
when we
shoot
talk
the
about our balancing and
beasts, so
everything,
they are
right, one of the big things
destructible.
is like we've
Is
had the
that
opportunity of
what
doing
I
workshops with
understood?
players at say the major and the SI and stuff like this. Getting stuff in players' hands early, getting the feedback, that's one way we can do that, especially with balancing. When it comes to testing grounds, this is more systemic level changes. Speed and armor was the one that we had tested first, and then, I mean, we have half reinforcements coming later this year. These are systemic things, and even with half reinforcements, it's really about how does that fit.
That's
in the
going to
system?
be
Where is it gonna
interesting.
go? But that's the avenue we want to apply testing ground, kind of that platform. for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, and I guess next question is, what's your ideal outcome, right? All these changes are coming through. You're watching what's happening. What's the best thing that can happen out of all of this for each operator, for example?
I mean, it sounds kind of cheesy, but just that people are having fun. Like,
Makes sense.
this is honestly what it all comes down to is that as much as Siege is super competitive and we want to take it seriously,
Hello,
like,
mister.
it's still a video game. It's still entertainment, and it needs to be that first. And we need to have fun with it.
Oh, no,
and
you're
that's
that type
fundamentally
of-
what we want to strive towards is that you're not booting out the game and being frustrated the whole time you're playing, but you're having a great time. You can't wait to play with the squad. You can't wait to see what that next update is. I mean, I know I'm beyond stoked about rank 3.0. Like that's the reality of it. And then just
Yeah,
to
it
make
was
it a
about-
point of joy in your life. Because it's a hard game. We know this, and we'll talk about that a little later with onboarding stuff. But like, it's the reality is we just want you to have fun when you're playing.
Yeah, and okay, did you want to?
Well, like I was just saying, like with the changes to the maps through the ranked map rotations, the changes to the balancing, the game is evolving at
Yeah.
a faster pace than ever. Like just the Jackal change, being a scan from Jackal from below, and then being able to play off of like a Jackal scan with communication within your team. Like it's one element, but then being able to do that on different maps within ranked. The game is changing at such a fast pace that we're still kind of testing the waters on like
Yeah.
the rate of all these kind of changes coming in, and do players do they want more, do they want less, and I know we're also looking at like weapons as well as like the different types of weapons that are being discussed within the community, and how to make those changes appropriately. So we are listening.
Normally, I don't
I
stream
think there's a
without
really good
makeup.
point to
I'm like
mention, though, is
really
the fact that the
looking
rate of change.
tired.
This is a significant adjustment for Siege, like coming out of year 10, season 4, and into year 11, and we are monitoring that closely to see how the community is reacting to it, and less or more and whatnot. But like you said, listening, especially when it comes to balancing, we know there are key things that the community is talking about, and I won't leak the stuff. But if I can tease a few things we are looking at, if that's all right. I like how I'm asking permission. I'm just going to do it anyway. But like we know, like Iona, Nock, Zofia, these are operators that players are giving us feedback on, and we're actively digging into them.
Okay, cool. And I think something else that's really interesting about
Nice.
these changes, right, is that it can also change the meta a little bit in terms of the way people play, and maybe people might start exploring new operators. Is that kind of the intent here, or is it just kind of a nice side effect? How are you looking at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we are looking to kind of like mix things up at the end of the day. Smoke having the shield back. Now Smoke might be played. It was played a lot before when he had the shield, so now
Yeah.
that's coming back. All of a sudden, Smoke's played more often, so you have that stalling techniques that are coming into play a little bit more in those ranked matches.
Yeah.
So like all these things just keep changing and evolving, and then we get to kind of play and almost like kind of counter through different buffs, operators that are now being brought into that rotation.
I'm going to be
and,
watching some
are on the
Pro
field
League
and can
games
make a
later
difference.
on as well. I'm good.
The reason she was targeted, is it basically what I just summed up, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in part of that. I
Yeah,
mean, with all
Sophia
remasters, we
two-speed
have a
would
very
be good.
specific kind of approach, which is we've exhausted all of their balancing levers to really bring them in line and alleviate the problems we're seeing. Which Doka had a huge frustration problem around her. The fact that one operator with one charge of a primary gadget can affect an entire opposing team,
Yeah.
and in multiple ways. Like
Yeah.
she can reveal your location, making you an easier target to kill, give away any strategy of stealth or something like this, if that's what you're trying to do. And then if she hacks a phone, say goodbye to all your primary gadgets if you're Maestro, Echo, or Valkyrie. And that's multiple gadgets just off the board, or
Yeah.
now with liabilities, not to mention BPCs and everything else. So it was a huge power space in which he was
She was
holding.
too strong in
The
my
thing
opinion.
is, just using the same mentality as balancing, is like we don't want to strip her of the fun. She is an absolute hacking mastermind, and we want to make sure she maintains that and keeps that essence
I said
alive,
it from day
and
one. She
really
should only
shows
do
up in a big
selective
way
call.
and has,
That
again,
way
controls
should
that
not be
impact.
too
So
strong.
She needs to have that impact. Just maybe not as global with how she was attacking everything all
Right.
at once.
I think the important thing, right, is that you're maintaining her essence, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a couple of interesting things that are happening, especially with Doka, is when we look at her, we have a bit of a new approach too, where narratively, a lot's happened to her. She was captured by Carries and she went through a lot of stuff. So that'll change you, and it kind of evolve the way you look at the world and how you go about it. And we've initialized that into the character development of her remaster. So because of those events, she is taking a different approach on how she does what she does. It's very targeted, it's very precise, and I'll spoil everything, but I won't.
No, we won't spoil anything. Guys, if you want more information on the Doku Remaster, it will be revealed with the Season 2 reveal happening at the major
Yeah, I
in
know.
Salt Lake
That's
City.
the-
So make sure you tune in
I
for
hate
for all
that.
the details there. But we'll end that discussion for now.
I
before it
hate
maybe drops us
that.
Something we shouldn't say. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's go into a discussion now on future remasters, right? Are there any others that are coming?
Yeah, well, we announced that we're actually doing another remaster for Season 4. This is our final remaster. We announced it at the SI,
Right.
being that we won't go into the same kind of caliber of saying, hey, remaster this season, brand new op this season. Going to year 12, it's a new op every season. So this is our final remaster. The concept of reworking an operator isn't gone, though. And I want to make that clear. Like, we've kind of gotten to the point where we still have levers
Come
on our
on.
operators to kind of play with, but a rework of the past may still return, if that makes sense.
Okay. And anything you can tease maybe about this?
Well, I think the core part is, even though we're going to new operators every season, we're not going to be neglecting those other operators. And if some needs a little bit more
Who
heavy
do you
lifting to kinda
think
get the
that is
job
going
done,
to be
we're still up
reworked?
for that task.
Yeah. And I think as far as teasing for my own personal health, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Fair enough. Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit more is you mentioned that remasters probably won't be happening, but you're still going to pull some levers, right?
Yep.
In terms of balancing in the future, so it might not be a remaster, but there'll still be changes that could be made. Perhaps like Aurora, for example. A lot of different changes coming through for her. Sorry, and it's not really necessarily a remaster per se, correct?
Yeah, like, I mean, like, she's a great example, but even I always keep going back to Thorn, but
Yeah,
a
Thorn, yes.
pretty strong one where those are levers built into her already, and we were able to revamp how she's played in the game and really,
What are you
honestly, I
watching?
think bring her to where everybody felt she should be.
Yeah, she's a pro league, like
Yeah,
it's a
so-
big change from where she was.
So that was a pretty big deal to be able to do that, and that is using the levers we have in place, because every time we build a new operator, like everyone that's in development right now, the key aspect is to have multiple levers in place so that we can continue to tune them as the game evolves, because we know it's going to evolve. Players are going to get better. They're going to change out their strategies.
Mhm.
We want to be able to be reactive, and the key way of doing that is making sure we have those levers in place. So even from a new operator design point of view, we've adjusted the way that we kind of
Okay.
do ops.
Fair enough. All right, and well, we are already seeing on your screen, guys. We're jumping back into the STL match to see what's going on here. And do you know which teams are? Oh, Drone. There we go. Drone Speedsters up against Expendables. I
Expendables.
love the names. Any research that you're going to be doing on? Are you going to be facing these guys? You have a match later, right?
I do.
Josh?
I do have a match. As soon as I'm done this, I have to like pack my stuff at my desk and then run home because I have my match. But the funny part about the names too is
Yeah.
that the names are they carry over season to season. So the players swap out, but the name remains. So you become
Oh.
part of the legacy of the team. Which
History there.
yeah, and there's like Discord channels that we're talking in and stuff. But the funny part about that is the team I shouldn't say this because if they're watching, but the team I'm going against today, I'm still in their Discord channel.
Oh, John.
Oh.
I didn't check. I didn't
Uh-huh,
check.
uh-huh.
But I'm
It's
saying
still in the Discord,
maybe
they're
on the way home.
bad.
My goodness. All right. Well, that being said, let's jump into our next topic here. And I mean, this kind of ties in with what we're doing at STL. We have that more recruit league that's coming through. And obviously, we're always looking at ways to make people feel more comfortable when they're onboarding.
That is
And,
crazy.
that's what's happening here with this new onboarding experience, Chris, that's going to be coming through. That being said, there was already an onboarding system in place. It was working. It seemed to be working.
Okay,
Why
so
change it
Rune
now?
did not lose her
Yeah, so
ACOG
onboarding
for
is what we
now.
call an ever active topic.
Right.
It's never going to go away for Siege. The skill floor is just too high.
Because if
As
she
much as we
lost
try
her
to lower it
ACOG,
through
they
all the
would have
different
said it
onboarding
right now,
changes and
because
so
that's
on,
a
it just
big
remains
change
a
that
very
she
high
would lose
skill
her
floor.
ACOG.
We tried to adjust the skill floor without
Um,
touching the skill ceiling.
She's still
because
having
that's
it.
what makes Siege Siege,
Okay.
right, is that it has a very high skill ceiling. So
That
one
is
of the key
interesting.
aspects that we've been really looking at is, how do we continue to improve? We've actually seen a lot of improvements, especially starting in Season 4. We had bot teammates that had shown up. That's working very well. We had the Clear House that got added, a great PvE way to learn maps. We had the mini map appear for the first time. We have a lot of different improvements that have been slowly rolling out. And we have seen a lot of big gains. But yes, we are going to be adding a new feature coming in Season 2.
And
1v1
what
is going
does
to
the
be
new
released soon
onboarding
as
time
well.
look like, I guess, my question then.
So it's centered around our bots. So our bots are machine learning bots, as you might remember. So that means we don't have a designer telling the bot how to behave or where to place a gadget or where to go roam or so on. We actually feed it live player data, and then the bots just act out that data. So where to place the gadgets, where to roam, where to anchor, which weapon to use, which secondary to use. All of this is actually dictated directly from the bots themselves. So for the first
Interesting.
time, we're actually going to be bringing bots into Quick Match exclusively for new installs only.
Okay.
So if it's
Oh,
you've
that's
just installed
actually-
the game, you've
that's
never
good,
played
actually.
Siege before, there's a chance in your very, very first matches of Quick Match that you'll be able to play against a bot match. The reason why we're doing this is we still struggle against putting new players into our existing PvP pool.
Right.
Going up against Quick Match, it's very, very difficult for us to, give them or tweak with them a positive experience. Basically, a lot of our players, even if we try with our, skill-based matchmaking or, trying to incorporate with clearance level, it still has limitations because players know maps, they know operators, they know how to play and counter, and new players just get destroyed, basically.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I used to play at the beginning of Siege, and then I hadn't played for a long time, and then I started again, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting
A lot of
absolutely destroyed. So yeah, this is a really good opportunity for like that to be a little bit slower and like just introducing you slowly to everything that's going on, as opposed to like just getting absolutely destroyed immediately as you're jumping in. So yeah, there's multiple phases, right, of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, absolutely. There's phase 1. So phase 1 is, again, this is exclusively for new installs that have
Yes.
never played before. They will play against with bot teammates going up against a team of bots. After they play a couple matches, they go to phase 2, where they have players on their team and they're going up against bots. And then finally phase 3, which is an improved matchmaking that we're trying with, including clearance level as a higher value to try to match those new players together. So this is something that we're testing. I do know, and I'm aware, that it's a sensitive topic, bringing
Yeah.
bots into Quick Match. Again, it's
Yeah.
exclusively only for new installs, new players. But we are
I'm
talking
not against
today
that,
with
actually.
our,
That
most active
that can
community.
be really
So if there's
helpful for new
opportunities
players.
where players see for us to maybe bring bots into other situations, we're open to listening to it. I'm okay to come back to a live stream like this and say how it went. This is a test that we're doing in Season 2 with those new installs, with those new players, and let players know how did it go. But thinking about situations, right? Like right now we don't backfill if it's match point in Quick Match. So sometimes you end up in like a 5v3 or even worse in that was Quick matches. And what ends up happening is that it just encourages other players to leave, and then the match just kind of falls apart. And sometimes it was a good match. So maybe there's an opportunity for there in match point to backfill with bots potentially. That's just one example.
Yeah.
Another
I
example
actually
could
like
be,
that
a player
idea. That
hasn't played
idea
for years,
is
and I come
good.
back to Siege. Maybe it's okay to have a couple bot matches to kind of warm up in that experience. But again, that's not what we're doing with Season 2. With Season 2 is just, I've never played Siege before. I click on PvP, you might get a bot match.
Okay. I mean, and by the way, guys, if you want to see stuff like that, like what Josh just mentioned in terms of bots, please let us know in the chat. We might do a seasonal survey at some point. Who knows? But yeah, we're always listening. We're always watching. We're always seeing what you guys want to have in the game. So
Also, if I don't mind, just one more thing. Again, we are talking to our most active community today. So I'll just say, how do I identify a bot?
yeah, I think that's important.
So there's 3 ways that you can identify if it's a bot that you're playing against. One is there's a number at the start of their name. So that's one of the giveaways, is that bots would always start with a number at the beginning of their name. Another one is you can't add them as a friend.
Mhm.
And another one is you can't report them. So those buttons are just missing on the squad, like on the player profile panel, for example. So that's like a telltale sign of it's a bot. Once again, it's only for new players, new installs. Ideally, players are not smurfing, but if you want to see what are those signs for, is that a bot or not, those are the telltale signs.
Fair enough. And I guess another thing that's important with these bots, or maybe it's not important, I'm just curious, like, do you feel like they're representative of how a human might act in a real game?
Yeah, they're getting better. Honestly, we have a full team that's
They're getting better.
constantly working on our bots and improving them season by season, adding new bots to play as, or new operators that you can play against. Like there's some operators like a zombie that's been very difficult for us to bring into the bots matches.
I know a lot of people are
but
going to be
ultimately
asking
they
about
are
the
improving. And
marketplace,
do they
but
replicate
I
player
don't
behavior?
think it's
Yes,
going to
because
be
they're given
talk about
player
the
behavior to
marketplace
play
because
off of.
in the
So
last time
they're
they
basically
talked
kind of
about it,
replicating
they said it
very
would be a
common situations.
year at least before the marketplace. I don't think it's going to be
Let's
talked
see
about.
Here, just, I think I have. Yeah. Okay. This is actually an important one that I want to ask you. So, can you skip these phases if you just want to jump straight into PvP?
So for season 2, the answer is no. The reason why, again, it's a test. We're wanting to see what the value is on having those bot matches at the beginning of a player's journey. So encouraging that we do have the data ultimately on reflecting our players playing more matches. Are they sticking around? Are they falling in love with the uniqueness of Siege? Those are
Why is
interesting
it?
data
Oh,
points that we really want to learn. So in season 2, the answer is no, but for the future, we'll discuss. And again, I'm happy to come back and report back on how the test went.
Absolutely. And I think we already covered this next one that I was curious about, but like, will bots be introduced in regular game modes, or is it strictly for onboarding? But you already mentioned, right, that's
Yeah, it's
something that we want to hear
exclusively for new
everyone.
installs.
Yeah, exclusively for
excuse
new
me.
installs, and that's it. So, yeah, I think that pretty much covers up our conversation on that one. But one more conversation, one more topic we kind of want to go through is player protection. You know, kind of an update on what was happening previously, right, and what we talked about previously, and let you guys know how it's going. So I guess my question to you then, Chris, is how are things going? Is there any updates you want to share?
Yeah, so last time we did a community live stream, it was 100% focused on player protection. Actually, no, we touched on testing grounds as well,
Yes,
but
yes.
mostly it was on player protection. So ultimately, we announced that we were going to start banning on Mousetrap, and I'm happy to say that we have started banning on Mousetrap. We've been banning our worst offenders. We've been banning those that are showing other telltale signs of being a bad actor within our community, and Mousetrap bans have begun. Additionally, we did a major update to Mousetrap, and we found it to be 6 times more effective identifying a mouse and keyboard in a console pool. We're well aware that there's more work to do in terms of detecting recoils. We mentioned last time in the community live stream, we are actively working on this, and we'll have more to announce soon. But for M&K on consoles, so players playing mouse and keyboard in consoles, we've started the ban phase, and we've been improving our systems.
And are there any other updates? I know last time we talked about toxic behavior and monitoring text chat and voice chat. Has anything changed there?
Yeah, so last time we talked about the sensitivity levels. Like, not all players have the same sensitivity levels. What we've done is just basically taken a big step back in terms of how sensitive the systems have been. Players are likely noticing that they're getting flagged less often, right, than for the chat communications. Also, we completely stripped away the idea of something that's slightly offensive or moderately offensive. We just said, just let that roll. You don't see that yellow text anymore that says, hey, maybe this is offensive.
Yeah.
We just removed that idea altogether.
Ah.
There's one other thing that we've been working on, which is we've been trying to detect positive communication. So players that are making callouts, players that are saying, upstairs, downstairs, big tower, like those are strong, positive callouts that are helping with the match. That's being a good teammate. So if players check the reputation center, they're likely going to see they're getting flagged for positive communication at a much higher rate than they were in the past.
That's awesome. Yeah. Always important to have that be reinforced, right?
That's right.
Anything else you want to share regarding player protection before we move on?
I think the key part is that it's an ever active topic for us. It's a mouse and cat game. We're always going to be updating our systems. We have a team that's fully committed to it. We've been ramping up. We had a lot of big wins, and it's going to be a topic that we're always going to be committing to fight against. And there's going to be up and downs, but stick with us because we are 100% committed to that fight.
Sounds good. All right. That does wrap up our coverage here. And I promise, guys, I haven't. Oh, yeah, I am there. Okay. Hey. I just thought my camera wasn't seeing. We're seeing a lot of STL coverage coming through, though. But yeah, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask in the chat, please do so now. If you already have been, we've been monitoring, we've been collecting them. So we're going to go through those soon. Before we do, we have some pre-submitted questions that we want to cover here, and we'll go through them. Guys, feel free, whoever wants to answer them. I'm just going to throw them out there. So first question is, and we may have already answered some of these, but is there a possibility of ranked map rotations while also removing the ban system?
So right now we're not looking at removing the ban system. We like the idea that it has some player agency in the match. So players can kind of choose, okay, I want
Wow,
to avoid
people
that
just
map,
writing about the
but I want to
fucking
play on this map
marketplace.
instead, et
Come
cetera.
on.
So we still feel the map ban phase has a place. I mentioned earlier in the discussion, we are updating the rules at how we populate those maps. You know, a showcased map, X amount guaranteed to be pro maps, and so on. So that's something that we are actually bringing for Season 2 with Rank 3.0. But as of right now, we're not removing the ban phase.
Okay, fair enough. And then on the Dokkaebi remaster, I'm not sure if we can answer this question, but I'm going to put it through anyway. If you can't, just tell me. So far, it looks like Deimos, where you choose someone and call them directly, which I think we kind of teased at SI, right?
Yeah. So
Don't have to go into too.
I won't go into too much, but yeah, she's definitely. It's not the global call ability is the thing that we talked about at SI being removed. She no longer calls everybody all at once. But we have to look at Dokkaebi's full kit. She had more functionality than just calling people. She could hack into the network, and that had functionality. So there's other aspects that are existing in her kit on what she can do, and of course, like the effect of what she's doing and how is that effective compared to, say, a Deimos? Where is that intel coming from? How is that being communicated? These all change those different vectors. She's still a hacking expert. I think that's the best way to do it with, threading the needle here.
Okay, fair enough. Next question, kind of very heavily focused on player protection here. When will we be seeing bans for macros and console cheaters?
Yeah, so we know it's a big topic. We are actively working on it. We mentioned last time we actually had some partnerships with some pro teams that kind of really helped us gather some recoil data, especially on PC. So we'll be bringing it to the PC pool first, and then the console pool after will be looked at.
Okay.
It's a big topic for us. We're actively working on this.
Okay, and the next question is actually pretty much the same thing, so we're going to move past that one. And then are ranked map rotations already being changed here? And we discussed that already.
Yeah, it's likely.
I just noticed my
based on our
face
seasonal
is
survey where
a lot
we,
difficult
kinda
than my
teased the fact
hands.
that this season
Jesus.
we're adding maps instead of swapping. And yeah, we did get cold feet on bringing some of those casual maps into to ranked, but also we're listening to our community. Like we had the seasonal survey out there. Taking Favela as an example, over 70% of players said this would negatively affect my ranked experience. Like, it's how do you just add it and move forward? We're open to continuing those discussions. We do see opportunities with these mini-map reworks to bring updates. We're going to continue analysis on maps, like especially maps that are not hitting the mark competitively for us, because we do want a larger pool so we can do the rotations more effectively.
The one thing that really came from that too is when we saw that data come in, we saw that 70%. I mean, that's a punch in the face. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we got to change our strategy here. And I remember the call we were in, and we were talking about it. We were with Max, who's our esports director, and we were going over like 9 maps. They're not moving. We need our 9 pro maps, 100%. And we were talking about it. And I remember Chris at one point just said, well, if we just add them all in? And then I was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. Because and again, we're chasing that fun and that entertainment, and that's kind of the joy of it. We're mid-season. Let's have a little spike of, fun and change things up a little bit.
Okay, and I guess another question on the maps, can you make it a map vote instead?
Yeah, so it's a big change. I guess ultimately at the end of the day, if you look at it when we added new maps, we added Emerald Plains. So this is now going back a long time ago, year 7, season 1. But we added Emerald Plains. It was the first map we had added in a long time, and it was just immediately banned and removed from the game. So would it have been voted on? Probably not. We then took a stance and said, going in with Nighthaven Labs, saying, well, guess what? It's a new map. For at least its launch season, it's now going to be featured, and you won't be able to ban it. And what ended up happening is that Nighthaven's appreciation increased over time.
Yeah.
So, we've had some different learnings about, sometimes you kind of have to say, this season, we want it to feel different. We don't want it to feel more of the same. We have a new map. Guess what? It's going to get played.
Yeah, I think there are opportunities.
People
to find
generally
ways to get
don't
the
want to
community involved
learn a
with
new
decisions
map.
that are being
That's the
taken here. Like,
problem
obviously,
in
when I listen
rank.
to the
People
surveys,
don't want
but
to learn
I'll go
necessarily a
back
new
to
map.
just, and this is kind of
And
off the
that
cuff, I'll
is
go
kinda
back to
sad.
the example when we launched that Ash bundle. It was 3 different versions of Ash, and the community voted on it, and then that's what went live. I would love for more opportunities to do stuff like this with the content in the game. So maybe there are other things we can do, but we'll discuss and we'll figure out what those kind of touch points are to get the community involved and have impact for what's showing up in the season.
All right, and go
I
ahead.
want to say one last thing. Like recently, we did an April Fool's Siege stuff.
Yes.
Right?
This is so good.
Yeah.
It was kind of like we're having fun. Obviously, we're bringing our most casual maps and putting it into our ultimately our most competitive playlist that we have, and
Yeah.
it was pretty well received.
Yeah.
Right. So just because it's not necessarily in ranked doesn't mean that those maps need to stay in casual. I think we can find other ways to have fun.
Yeah, like,
Anything?
yeah,
Okay,
I
just
had
wanted to
fun,
make
but like, yeah.
Okay, and then the final
matchmaking
question
was
that we had
poorly
pre-submitted,
done,
then I'll go
though.
to the live questions. For Secure Boot, will it eventually be rolled out into ranked and the whole game? I think we kind of covered this last time, but let's reiterate again.
Yeah, so Secure Boot is definitely going to get rolled out. It's part of our R6 Shield Guard secure platform, which includes
Okay.
Secure Boot, TPM 2.0, and many other aspects. But ultimately, that's going to be launching for Legend Division. We're going to have that roll out. We're going to see how that goes, and then if we get big wins through that system, then yes, we'll be looking at where else do we bring it, including ranked.
Okay.
So that is a target for us, but it's not necessarily something that we will be doing in the short term. For now, it's exclusive to the Legend Division.
Okay.
It's like Chris mentioned, like
Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go out. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go out.
Yo, Maddie! Thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate that. Obviously,
we do
I'm
have
being a little bit
maybe
quiet now,
still an
but
elephant in the room here that
trying
we want
to
to
fix
address
the
here,
ban
and that's in
for-
terms of marketplace, right, and what's happening there. Maybe
Oh,
you can
they're talking
give a
about
quick
the
rundown of what
marketplace.
the current status is.
Yeah, so Marketplace is still closed, and ultimately we're just looking at account security. It opened up a lot of different, exploits for players to be targeted for their accounts, for their inventories, for
okay.
many different aspects, and we just need to make sure that we keep players safe. So at the end of the day, that's where the work is going right now. It's less about because we don't want it as part of the oh my
There goes our
proximity alert.
no more proximity alerts are going to come through.
But no, ultimately, we're looking at account security, and when we feel that the account
Yeah.
security efforts are matched up to the expectations we have for Marketplace, we'll be looking at reactivating.
And just looking to see if we have more questions come through. A lot of it was honestly about marketplace. I think people are
Okay.
just wondering what's going to be happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of appetite for Marketplace, and I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, for sure. Someone's asking about DMRs and will they be updated or rebalanced?
We are actually looking at DMRs right now.
Okay.
So as
Okay,
I
I got
mentioned
my,
earlier, we
uh,
were talking about like
Christian here.
uh,
DMRs.
nerfing different things because DMRs are definitely in the category of there needs to be adjustment there. And the question is, how do you do it without completely killing the weapon class? And we have multiple avenues we're looking at and exploring, but that testing's happening right now. So it's been something we've talked to our pros in the pro workshops to get that understanding, because obviously DMR show up a lot more at higher level lobbies just by the very nature of it. And that's the funny thing is when you look at the data, their pick rate is like substantially smaller than like full ARs and stuff like this, but just by the nature of the beast, these you have to hit your shots, and you're probably seeing it in STL. Like I'm sure people are running them, but ultimately we are looking at them and trying to find essentially the best solution to keep them have controlling the space, just like an operator, but within the armory. So
I would say, like, also when you mentioned the bouncing and the
Just take away the
we don't
ACOG.
look at just percentages. We look at the MMR, the play rate within those different.
Like
ultimately there's a
I
bell
feel like
curve.
it's
So when
enough
you
if they
go
took away
to
the
a higher
ACOG
MMR,
because
it
the
is a smaller
DMR
percentage of players because it's
with
just
the
a bell curve
ACOG
and
is
naturally
more
how things will work.
nasty in general
But we
than
take
you
that
having the
very
one-time
seriously.
scope.
Like we're not discounting it because it's a small percentage. In fact, that's the top of our game. So we do pay close attention to what's happening there.
right, and I think we've mentioned in a couple other things, like whenever we see, let's say, like SIs going on, whatever is happening on SI is going to show up in the game at all, like multiple ranks, much further down than you'd expect, just because people start to mimic the strats that they see, and they're like, okay, well, if they're running this DMR or whatever, I got to learn it, and then it can amplify the impact in the overall game. But the
Yeah.
point being, it's definitely something we're monitoring and adjusting. So regardless of how big any issue is,
Right.
we still recognize it as something we want to address.
Yeah,
We have
that's
some
going to be
more
interesting.
fun questions, let's say, coming in. Will we see night maps? Can we talk about that at all? I mean,
Night
it's just been asked a lot.
maps.
No. So
Yeah.
the one thing I've said about just lighting in general when it comes to Siege is we did a huge update for Siege X, like just overhauled our entire lighting system, but that system's maturing. This is something that we're doing. We're improving it in the back end for just development purposes, like behind the scenes development, making sure it's easier for our teams to use and our artists to use.
Yeah.
You can see that with the modernized maps. You'll see just them looking so much more rich with everything going on. But it's an evolution of tech, and we have to continue to make those evolutions. So investments in Siege, investments in where we can take the game are things that we're always talking about. It's the best non-direct answer. Don't worry, I'm calling myself on it. It's fine.
No worries. I mean, look, we got.
Okay.
I mean, we were talking about balancing and stuff like that. People are asking a 1.5 scope. Like,
1.5, yeah. So how do I? So 1.5 is a really interesting one because it had all the benefits with none of the negatives, and that's one of the things we talk about
Yeah.
in Siege is that there's pros and cons to every action you take, and there's pros and cons to everything you bring in your gear.
Don't bring the
So
1.5 back.
If you bring the DMR, you better hit your shots.
Yeah.
And as we can tell, not all players are at that skill, so they'll stay to fully automatic weapons.
Right.
But that's the same thing. Depending on what you're bringing in the field, there has to be the repercussions for doing so because the consequence is kind of in the nature of Siege. The 1.5 really didn't have that. It just was. It was the joy of everything. And I'm gonna admit, I love the thing too. This is not not liking it, but finding how we can make comfort there, because there is a very real comfort conversation about that. Especially honestly, when we talk about console players, they sit 12 feet, 8 feet away from their TV and stuff like this. So having the proper magnification, it makes a big difference. We are constantly reevaluating different sites. Sites being the actual attachment, and looking into new ways in which we can enhance that experience in the gunplay overall. But again, you can't have all the things, because if you have all the things on one thing, you choose nothing else, and nothing else has purpose. So we have to keep that in mind.
Another question on weapon balancing. Will the SMG 12 be nerfed, updated, or balanced?
Can I just say
You say
yes to
anything.
all those?
Okay.
Because it will. Yeah, we're looking at it right now.
Okay.
Not in this patch, but it's definitely a focus.
Yeah. Because again, listening to the community and looking at this stuff. Now I'm not. I'll say yes, but you don't know which one of those that I said yes to. So,
Still vague.
yeah.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I'm just sorry. There's a lot of stuff coming in now. Again, I don't know if we can say anything here. You kind of hinted at it before, Josh, but someone's asking, when are we getting Nox, Zofia, and Yana buffs?
That I'm not going to spoil.
Yeah, I
no,
figured.
I don't know. No. See, the funny thing with there are a few levers left to play with on these operators and to take a look in. But I'll be honest, if we get to the point where those levers aren't making the needle move the way we need to, then it falls into that new kind of the rework territory.
Right.
And I think that's honestly, I can see that conversation in the community where people are like, oh, this needs to be a remaster or rework this. And the reality is we want to try a couple more levers before we go that far.
Okay.
But that's how much care we have for each one of our operators, that we don't want any of them to be questioned for their position in the game. We want them to be like, yeah, they're awesome at XYZ. I love that they're in my roster. I'm super pumped that I have learned to play them, because again, if you have a deep operator roster and you can just swap through, target ban me all day long, it's not going to matter. You're going to run out of bans, right?
Exactly.
So it's and that's ultimately the goal there.
As long as each operator owns their own little space, right? I
Right.
guess is the point. Okay, cool. And then another question here: could we see secure area or hostage come to unranked or have a weekly highlight playlist?
Oh, well, that's interesting. So we announced at the SI that we were looking into, where does hostage fit ultimately. Securia is in that same conversation. Looking globally at the 3 game modes that we have today, right now they're just lumped into quick match, and you have an option to kind of turn them on or off. Most people have turned them off, and then they just forget what their settings were.
Right.
And then after that, they just go and they click quick match and they play bomb. Trying to highlight those modes because there are core modes that have been around for a long time. Like Hostage is dear to my own personal heart because it was like the reveal trailer, right? Like they were playing Hostage.
Right, yeah.
So, trying to see if we can kind of capture the magic of those modes and try to highlight them. We talked about having fun with the Siege Cup. like that could be a potential way. But we are looking at ways that we can support those modes more than we are today. But I think at the end of the day, and we learned this through Dual Front, is that those modes need to be played. So how can we highlight those modes? How do we give them the space that they need to succeed, and make sure that we can service them? And what we've heard from players, we actually did some workshops recently, is that at the end of the day, there needs to be some kind
So
of
is my
competitive edge
family.
with these game modes, or else they just kind of fall flat. So we'll be looking at that more directly of like, okay, how can we kind of support that in the future? But we have nothing to announce today.
Okay. Still, go ahead.
Well, I think the ultimate, like everything Chris said, is like bang on. And then the reality is, we recognize that bomb is the central pillar of Siege.
Right.
Like there's no denying that. But hostage and security very much could be supporting around that central pillar, and that's honestly where we're looking into, because we want to have that flexibility within the ecosystem of the game.
Very cool. Looking through more questions here. This one's kind of always a hot topic, so I guess I'll ask it for you guys since you keep on asking. Are you adding ACOGs back to Defenders? I don't know if you probably can't answer that directly at all, but
So
yeah.
I'll say this. I'll say that the point has been, like, obviously, like, it's been a point that we've talked about for, well, it's come up a bunch. It's not falling on deaf ears, if that makes sense. This
Yes.
is something we are actively listening to, and making sure that we're finding ways in which we can do this. I mentioned we're looking at sites, so
Yeah.
I know I'm being vague.
No, it's
but-
okay. I mean, you can't always say exactly, but we're looking at it. See, there
Yep.
you go. I think that's the point. And I'm looking through to see if we got more questions coming in. Not seeing anything. I want to give people like a couple of minutes to see if they have anything else they want to ask. But anything else you want to add on all the topics we discussed today that maybe you feel we might have missed, or
I think honestly, like just how much players enjoy these conversations, and the types of topics that they'd want to see. Like we have
yeah.
lots of developers here on site that we
Yep.
can be talking to, talking about, whether it's the universe and the lore, talking about, our menu structures, talking about, anything that they'd like to know about the game. Obviously, Josh and I are always available, but there's other developers here that can add, a lot more insight
Yeah.
into game development, or Siege's development, if you will. So just hearing about the topics that players want to hear with these.
Damn,
live
there's
streams,
so
I think
many
it'll be
people
interesting.
absolutely. So guys,
writing
keep
is
your
kinda
messages
hard.
coming in. I think we're going to wrap up now, but thank you so much for tuning in to this community checkpoint. We will have another one very soon into the future. We're going to continue covering player protection. It's going to be an important focus for our community checkpoints, and of course, other topics like Chris was saying. Anything else you guys want to hear about, please let us know. But for now, we are signing off. Thank you so much for coming
Okay.
out, and hope you have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
all.
you.
Okay, that was it. That was it. Okay. That was it. That was interesting. Very, very interesting indeed, guys. So. To summarize what they had said. So, we thought, guys, that they would go to be taking away the ACOG on Aruni and stuff, but they have not. They're still looking into the possibility because they don't want to kill the weapon DMR. Or for me, I feel like it would be enough for them to take away the ACOG, in my opinion, because that gun is still strong, even if you have the ACOG or not. It would not diminish the strength of the DMR. You're just gonna change that in general. But if we summarize what they are saying, they're talking about the map rotation is going to be changed permanently in the next season. So there's going to be a showcase match. They're going to have 2 for pro. They're going to have the Pro League maps in the rotation, and there's going to be like 2 seasonal maps that's going to change around, and that is going to be a kind of like Canal, Sky, Theme Park, Outback, stuff like that. They're backing away with putting in Favela on this season, so it's not coming. Because 70% of the people voted on not having that back in ranked, so that is gone. And there is some form of updates as well to some of the operators. and so we do have that. I'm just gonna see if I can find any patch notes. No, they have not released any patch notes for now. They have not. Okay. They have not. So the thing that I said, they have balancing 8 different operators right now, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 operators that have added. So the biggest change is Aurora, so they have added a longer range for her to use her get free. So it's going to be from 15 to 25. And also the door is going to be closing in 1 second instead of 3 seconds. And for the enemy, when they're opening up the door, it's going to take 6 seconds instead of 3 seconds to open up the door, which is going to give more time for the attackers to react in a different way. And it's going to hurt the defenders, no matter what you say. So it's going to be more important to have impacts or something to open up. So you need to be a little bit, sorry for yawning, a little bit more aware. Then we have Smoke. He's getting his shield back, which is okay. Love that. It's been a lot. People have been asking about that, so it's good to see it back. Then we had Jackal. Now we can scan through the floor, so if you're shooting up with a shotgun underneath, you'll be able to scan through the floor. I think that was a thing in the old days. I think it was, but I might be wrong. Glass, I kind of missed what they said there a little bit, but they said that he's when he's moving, it's getting blurry. Now it's going to take a longer time for that blurriness to come, so you'll be able to move a little bit and then stop, so you have more flex on that. Grim is getting a nerf, and now you will, from my understanding, you will be able to shoot the bees now, so you will be able to shoot like the canister. You will be able to destroy that. And Frost, they gave her a slight buff, so when one falls into the Frost mat, you will get a debuff. You will walk slowly, you will bleed, you will have blood trail behind you for 60 seconds. Now they increased that to 70 seconds instead. And then on Thunderbird, they have increased the healing per second is 2 HP per second. Now they increased that to 3 HP per second instead. Then we have, there's going to be a remaster, one last one. After that, it's not likely to going to be happening a lot of like nerfing, so to speak. It will not happen too often. For that. For a while, because then they're going to be putting out new operators every season. I still don't agree with that. It kind of hurts the game, in my opinion, to put it out that often. After that, they have said there's going to be for new coming players, or like really new players, that will be able to play against bots in the next season. I'm leaving that as talking about. So you will be, if you're a really new player, have a new account and stuff, you will be playing against bots as in general, and that's going to be 3 different stages to help you to get into the game, understanding the game more than playing against real life players. Mousetrap is on, and they have been started banning, and they'll be banning 6 times more people that is cheating in Mousetraps. So that, plus they have updated Mousetrap as well, so that's good. They're getting on with the cheating. Wait, I have no music in the background. We need to. I just noticed, like no music. And they have also based on like the text chat sensitivity, they have removed the yellow warning text now and been a little bit more lenient with the like low to medium type of text in general. But like if you curse really hard, then it's going to be a different matter. So they have leaned up on that, so you don't need to be like super sensitive. Dokkaebi, they have not talked much about. They just confirmed that Dokkaebi can only do selective calls now. That is confirmed. Nothing else has been confirmed except she might have a different ability on her and not just be able to call in general. Marketplace is still closed. There will be no information on that because it's going to take time because a lot of players have did their accounts and information accounts and stuff is leaked in a way. Also got a question about DMRs, if they're going to be changed, nerfed or whatever. They are looking at the DMRs to see where they are at because I don't want that gun to be extinct from the game. So they're going to be looking at night maps is not coming back because of them going into a newer system. Then they have to redo the entire night maps, and that is not time waste and money wasting in general. So I don't think it's going to be coming back. So the question was on 1.5 to have that back. It will not come back. I'm certain it will never come back because it's a site that has no negativity, only positive thing. So everything has a positive and negative side. So like it's the same with the EMR. They are strong, but there's going to be some negative in some form or way. So the 1.5 had the best of everything. So it's not coming back. The SMG12 is looking into the same way as the DMR. They can't neither say or confirm anything, but they are looking into it. There's going to be a change to it no matter what, but it will come in for the next year together with the DMR, I think. When it comes to hostage and secure, well, they don't mind bringing it back, but the thing is, it's kind of same with Duofront. People need to play those game modes for it to be in the game. If it's not used enough, then there's no point in having it in the game, so to speak. So that is one of the things that is on right now. What else? Yeah, someone also asked about ACOG on defense. They can't say anything. To be honest, I think they were a little bit unnecessarily cryptic. For me, I don't think they would put ACOG on defense again because that is going to be so stupid in my opinion. I kind of feel like it's kind of stupid, but it's up to them. I don't agree necessarily to have more ACOG in defense than like it's going to be. They were talking also about impact for every defender, so we'll see how that goes as well. And kind of like that. So that is what is looking. But yeah, if they put in impact on every defender, guys, I think they're going to be pushing down on. There's going to be only select operators that is going to be having the secondary shotgun. Like they almost there's a lot of defenders that has the secondary shotgun and it's been used very widely. So if they put the impact on everyone, then they need to take away some of the super shorty. Otherwise, it's just going to be really bad. In general, I think that's going to be super bad if that's the case. Let's see here. But we will see. how that goes. But yeah, it went pretty darn well. I like the changes. Some of the changes they can't say too much, which is a little bit sad that they can't. But I do get the reason why. For those that are wondering when the new changes are coming, it's going to be coming this Tuesday, I believe. It's going to be the patch change. So that is going to be interesting. I'm really interested in seeing how. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot to say, Draco's getting nades as well. I totally forgot that. And Clash, and I forgot to say that Clash also, her electricity is going to be increased by 5 seconds. I don't agree on that at all, but what can we do? No, like you could shoot the canisters. I forgot about it, but as well. Let's see. It takes longer to deploy. I can't even write properly, so. I can't write scope. $12 sec to 15 sec is what's going to be happening. Yeah. That's kind of what's happening right now. In general, I'm not sure if you guys are interested in me watching games. I've been playing a lot of games today. It's been crazy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah! Ha! I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to yawn. Let's see. I'm just going to be posting the information onto. Let me just see how this is going to go. Just give me 2 seconds to fix this. I really wanna fix all of this. I don't know why. This is gonna be weird. see here. I know I'm a little bit of a dummy right now, but I'm just going to be seeing what is happening. Mm-mm. Just gonna see here. Gonna write quickly here. I know it's so freaking boring. Mm. I can't like do multitask. To close the door. It takes 6 seconds for the for the enemies to open it. And we have let's see here. Grim Bees takes longer to deploy so enemy can shoot them. Smoke shield is back. Smoke glass has more time when looking through his scope. 12 seconds to 15 seconds now. Frost. Let's see here. So Frost debuff goes from 60 seconds to 70 seconds bleed time. I'm guessing that is good, right? Thunderbird. Let's see here. Healing goes from HP second per second. Fast jag skulle ha båda två av dem. Ja, nej, jag är nöjd med det. Jag vet. Men det har hållit i en vecka för mig. Så. Tack. Dricka kan du lägga i kylen dock. Jag har ju kolan i handen. Hejdå. I can't even write properly. Sorry. Basic 2 here. Aurora goes from blah blah blah. Let's see here. Did not expect any of this. I was expecting Zero nerf and Sophia buff. Something like that. Or did I like miss anything? So, what else? There's more. I missed something. What else did I miss? What the fuck? I missed a lot. Okay. We have Jackal. I forgot about Jackal. Gets his nades back. And now he can scan footprints above. Now? Aurora, Smoke, Jackal, Glass, Frost. We have also Clash. Clash. Sap? Is it called Sap? No. Clash. Her shock will last 5 seconds longer. Something like that. So we have Grim, Thunderbird, Clash, Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. We got everything. We got everything. Okay, let's post that. Sorry, I really needed to do this first, so. We needed to do that. Okay, we got it. Damn, there's a lot of changes, guys. A lot of changes. That is seriously insane. That is insane. Yeah, I don't think we have anything more. I know maybe I should have ended the stream before I did the editing for the the Twitter feed. But like, is there anything else you have a question? Then don't be afraid to comment down below for everyone that is in YouTube as well, if there is anything. Yeah, so the changes are going to be coming towards Tuesday is what I do believe. Let's see here if there is more. I'm just checking to see if there is any more news so I don't go and destroy it for you guys. But yeah, so that is it for now. Oh, he pinned that. Jesus Christ. So 600 £. Okay, that is. Okay, so this is going to be it. I feel like I'm losing myself now. I've been live for a couple of hours now. But I will be back on Tuesday again, and we're going to be talking about more about the changes and see how it's going to work. We're definitely going to be playing around with Barbara a little bit more. I know that I usually play a couple of games, but it was all for the community thing today. And I enjoyed that so much. So we are going to, of course, be raining someone quickly here. I usually sit and play, but we are not going to do that today. I'm way too tired as well to be doing that. But for everyone in YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I do hope that you enjoyed this segment. I usually don't do those, but I do hope that you enjoyed that either way. And I will see you guys on Tuesday, and I wish you guys an amazing day, morning, night, wherever you are. And I will see you on the next one. Yeah, take care.